Well, it's a truck. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. Today we're taking a look at the new-ish RC four-wheel drive Toyota FJ55. And here it is, all done. This comes as a kit on the TF2 Long Wheelbase Edition chassis, and pretty much as you see here. In my opinion, this is certainly looking better than the box art, which was shot. You know what? I gotta get it. I gotta get the box. That's the box art. Look at this. That does not make me wanna get one of these. I'm sure most of you already know. We did a live unboxing of this kit, showed off all the bits and pieces. This is a Lexan body. It's Lexan. And once you've painted it properly on the outside, and given it some depth with some body lines, it doesn't look so bad. I know a lot of people aren't fans of the FJ55, or Iron Pig as it's sometimes referred to. But I actually quite like this Toyota, and it's got a lot of history. It's sort of like the great-great-grandfather of the 4Runner. Without this, there's not a lot of SUVs on the road, honestly. So at least they did pay a decent homage to a truck that nobody seems to know. I like it. I know a few others like it. Toyota purists love it. And I just think it does, while having some very strange body lines. I think it's a pretty neat looking truck. Maybe not from all angles. But RC four-wheel drive did put this on a TF2 long wheelbase chassis. This has been around for a very long time. There is essentially nothing new to talk about on the underside of this chassis. It is pretty much as you might expect and has been around for a long time. The assembly of the kit is super easy. I've built dozens of these over the years, so I've got a bit of experience for sure. There are a lot of setup tips that I can offer. I'll put a link right up here to all of the Trailfinder 2 Marlin stuff you can do to make a leaf sprung truck a lot better. I've done a couple of those things, not all of them, but a couple of them to at least make this a semi-decent driving experience. That's basically removing some of the leaves from the leaf packs as it comes stock. It's way too firm. And they are not heavy trucks because when you put a Lexan body on top of this chassis, it really does affect the overall performance. It really is meant for a hard body. While this is a heavier than most Lexan body because it does have a full, mainly flat interior, there is not a lot of hard plastic here. So that will definitely affect performance. I would highly recommend taking some leaves out in order to make this a much more enjoyable driving experience. Okay, so there's not really much to talk about in regards to chassis. It really isn't any different. It's just a long wheelbase TF2 with some bumper extensions, mainly to hide the mounting points for this Lexan body and to give you an opportunity to run a more accurate front bumper. This is it here. It is very hard, rigid plastic, so I don't recommend hitting it very hard on any obstacles. It will probably snap. The track width on this TF2 is wider than it would be on a normal TF2, and that's because this body is quite large. It's probably more in the 8th scale range than it is 9th or 10th. It is wide, and to compensate for that width, they did add wheel hex wideners on all 4 corners in order to kind of bring that track width out and to give you a little more accuracy. It still is a full tuck. There is no tire or wheel sitting outside of the fender arches, so it does actually look quite nice that way. I do like the old school rock stompers. This is the RC four-wheel drive rock stomper tire in their newer compound. This tire has been around forever and was basically one of their more popular knockoffs of the Super Swamper. I think it actually looks pretty decent on here, and it's a little more pedestrian tread pattern. It's not as deep a lug or spread out as much as a real TSL, but it's pretty decent looking. Steel stamped wheels, 6 lug, which was accurate to a Toyota axle, so that's nice to see as well. And that's pretty much the look at the chassis itself. Now we can spend some time on the body. It is Lexan, like I said, many times over. I've decided to paint this on the outside in a non-standard color scheme, dark blue or navy with a silver and then black accents on the grille and other pieces, just to kind of knock it back a little. I think it actually looks pretty decent this way. There is a reasonable interior. It's not extremely deep, so you'd be looking at like a knees up driver situation. I have not added a driver to this truck, but again, painted on the outside, so it does take back all of that shine and just kind of makes it feel a little more realistic. There is a nice second row seating and a little SUV cargo area in the back as well. So lots of nice looking bits and pieces. Lots of plastic accessory parts that are added to the outside of the body. Like you can see the tail lights there, the license plates around, all of the door handles, mirrors, the list goes on. But one thing I will mention is that while there are little tiny like sort of while there are tiny guide divots in the body, or dimples if you want to maybe be a little more accurate, most of them don't actually line up with the real parts that have to be put on there. And the interior is a major portion of that. So what I would do, strongly recommend, drill all the holes by marking them first, getting everything dry fit. Drill the holes before you paint. Otherwise, you will have a heck of a time putting this together. You will curse RC4 Drive's name if you don't do that. So I highly recommend that you do that. The mirrors are hard plastic, and these are going to snap off any minute. I feel like I almost snapped one off on the little trail run that I did. So that's something I would certainly maybe look at doing something, maybe modifying it, putting a bolt through the bottom just so you can turn them in. I think that might be a handy little addition. But there are lots of nice molded details that can be added to the exterior of the body to really kind of help sell the look. And when you paint it on the outside, it does look 10 times better than if you were to paint it on the inside and leave it glossy on the outside. I didn't opt to use any of the actual window trim stickers that are included. They all looked a little too phony to me, so I masked off all of these parts myself and then used a Sharpie to draw the actual panel lines into the doors, just to kind of give it a little more dimension that way too. You probably noticed that there are no body posts or body pins ruining the exterior of the body, and that is definitely a good thing. They are hidden body mounts. On the underside of the chassis here, you can see that they've got a bumper extension that actually includes two body posts that you mount through the rear there. The bumper on the back is attached to the body, which was an interesting decision, but I think I know why they did that. It would be a very strange large molded piece, so they probably just opted to not do that. That's fine. The front also has hidden body posts right underneath that front bumper extension there, and that bumper is mounted to the chassis. You'll note I also included an inner fender there. That's from R3 Designs, originally designed for the 4Runner, but they seem to work fairly well here on this application. RC 4-wheel drive did not include any sort of inner fender. They sell it separately now, of course, but it would have been great to see that included in the body kit. There is a nice healthy sticker sheet, lots of Toyota branded decals. This is a licensed body after all. Some of the actual badges I've already put on the truck. There's some interior bits and some stripe patterns as well for those of you who are more adventurous than me. You do get a full set of light buckets for all of the lights, including the marker lights as well, which is kind of nice, and then the rear ones as well, but no light kit is included with the kit. In order to keep it feeling a little less like Lexan, they do include these nice big rigid plastic panels with a little bit of Velcro on there, and that'll actually kind of attach the body to it and keep things a little more rigid, so it doesn't feel so much like a Lexan body and does kind of keep it looking a little more realistic, which is a nice touch. Absolutely, I do appreciate that. And I think that pretty much covers it. I think you have to be a real aficionado of Toyotas and Lexan to appreciate the FJ55 from RC 4-wheel drive. It certainly wasn't good looking. When I saw the original box art, I was a little disappointed. Actually, a lot disappointed, and I'm a big fan of the FJ55. I've actually got a hardbody kit that was 3D printed that I need to still assemble and add to a chassis. So At some point, maybe we'll see that on this. Now that I've spent a little bit of time with it, I can see that it did have potential. You just have to spend a little more time than you probably normally would on a Lexan body, and it will turn out looking pretty decent. As for performance, because it is such a lightweight truck, there are a few things you can do to make this perform a little bit better. Will it appeal to everybody? No, because this is a pretty ugly truck. It will only appeal to those of you who are really interested in Toyota history, or maybe have some history with this truck in the real world. This body does come at quite a premium if you were to buy it separately, so I really feel like the best value is in the TF2 long wheelbase kit edition. But that being said, this kit has been around for a long time, and there have been some significant improvements, especially even in leaf-sprung trucks. And there are many things that RC four-wheel drive could do to make this an even better value and an even better kit. But I wouldn't suggest putting a TF3 under there. I hope you've enjoyed the running footage throughout. This is a very nice, fun vehicle to drive the way I've set it up, with a Spectrum 2-in-1 2300 kV motor and a big 5000 milliamp hour lithium polymer pack. Having a big pack like that will make this truck perform a lot better. It needs a little bit of extra weight. Not always do you want your trucks to be lightweight, especially with leaf springs. This interior piece does remind me a lot of the way the Vanquish VS410 interiors fit. They are held in with the door handles, which is very similar. It does contour itself around the existing panel lines, so it all is a very nice snug fit. And because it's not fully flat, you can fit that super huge battery in there. You could not get this battery in with a TF2 with a Mojave body. There's just no way it would ever fit. So it's nice that they actually did that. It does give you a little more room. I've got a 5000 milliamp hour pack in there, which gives you a lot of trail time. So yeah, bottom line, will this be your next purchase? Maybe, maybe not. If you're really into weird, ugly old Toyotas, and you have some time on your hands to properly detail out this body, I think this is certainly something worth taking a look at. What do you think about the FJ55? Do you think that it was worthy of making a kit all around it? Or is it something that they should have left to the history books? Put a comment down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of them as I can. And if you're enjoying this video and you want me to continue to review trucks and kits and RTRs and all the things that come out, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much to RC four-wheel drive for sending this my way and allowing me the opportunity to try to make it look as good as I could. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.